Time management.
Oh, that's a goodie.
Difficult.
Very difficult.
I'm not very good at it.
No personal life.
Stressful.
It's impossible.
Overwhelmed.
Time management.
Keep things flexible.
Varies day to day.
A difficult one.
Very difficult to know what to expect.
Extremely stressful.
There you go.
Stress.
The be-all and end-all.
Plagues teachers, I think.
Time management. Procrastination comes in there.
Can be an issue.
Lists.
Don't spend too long on paperwork.
If you want to avoid stress levels, time management is absolutely essential.
Displacement activities as in...
Wasting time.
Making tea.
Always.
We're talking about things that are distractions, aren't we? Yeah, I thought so.
I always find it difficult to make sure I'm focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing at any given time.
I keep a list of things to do.
No, generally I try and prioritise and make a to-do list every day.
Yeah, wasting time.
Certainly when I was younger.
Checking email.
It's very tempting to sometimes when you're facing a task you don't really want to do.
No, I think I do actually manage my time quite well.
I'll always find something else to do and I don't want to deal with that pile of marking.
Speaking to other members of staff.
What kind of things do I do?
Cleaning.
I will go around the classroom picking up every speck until I realise it's so tidy that I now need to actually do my work.
In a list of jobs, 30, if you like, jobs that I have to do, picking off the sugary ones before the thorny ones.
I think we're all guilty of things like that, aren't we? Doing things that we'd rather do and putting off the hard things.
You just have to discipline yourself to get on with what you need to do in the time you've got.
There's millions of displacement activities in school and that's all part of the fun.
I'm a perfectionist.
I'm always striving for perfection.
I think we'd all like to see ourselves as perfectionists.
No, nowhere near a perfectionist.
This is one of my main issues, and I'm very much of a perfectionist. And I'm a pragmatist, really.
There's not 25 hours in a day.
I don't think there is perfection.
It'd be nice to strive to be perfect, but it's not always possible.
And you do need to get some sleep.
I'm not satisfied with good enough.
Good enough is never good enough.
I always want to try and reach perfection. I know it's hard.
I never think that what I've done is good enough.
Even with observations, when you hear people give you, you know, outstandings or things like that, or say very positive things.
You tend to try and over-scrutinise yourself and the way each lesson goes almost.
I can't help it, but at the back of my mind I do think, maybe you don't really know exactly what I should have been doing.
In teaching, if everything was always perfect all of the time, you'd never leave your office.
As I've got older and are longer in the tooth, you know, that sometimes one has to understand that good enough is good enough.
What you might not think is perfect is still really good for other people.
I think I'm most productive before school in the morning.
Definitely a nighttime person.
You do need to know yourself very well.
Definitely.
Time management, how do I know myself?
Used to be an owl, very much an owl.
Definitely more of a lark.
You mean early bird or...
Oh, definitely a lark.
Most time I work better at night.
I'd say I'm more of a lark.
You're asking me to choose one or the other. Of course, it's difficult because I am both.
I don't know, is there such a creature as a lark owl?
I think I am a bit of an owl that likes to have a lark.
My head can actually move around quite far.
If I can get 8 or 9 hours sleep every night, I'll be any animal you want me to be.
And if I spot a vole, I'm on it.
I don't know, what was that?
It is important to know yourself well and to be disciplined with yourself.
I think it is, yeah.
I'm a workaholic, I'm working too much.
Try and do most of my schoolwork in school time.
I work non-stop. I won't take a lunch while I'm in school so that I can get home and spend time with my wife and daughter.
You really need to strike the balance. I tend not to take anything home with me if I can help it.
I prefer to do my work in school rather than take it home.
I don't want to be one of those teachers that have got 2 curver boxes under their arms and they're marching towards the boot of their car and they, right, that's Sunday, right, that's my night there.
The important thing in terms of time management is really have to know what your strengths and what your weaknesses are.
I think I worked inefficiently for a long time.
Even though you know yourself very well, I think you have natural tendencies that won't go away, you know.
I would stay up late and think, you know, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, but now I think I've got better at saying to myself, I'm not working efficiently, I've just got to stop now. So I think I've improved.
Discovering your weaknesses and then doing something about it is the key to managing your time, I think.
It can be very intensive and it can be very boring as well.
The big M word.
The problem with marking is that, number one, it's time consuming.
It used to occupy all of my life, in my NQT year particularly.
And number two, it tends, on most counts, to be pretty boring.
If you try to mark every single essay absolutely immaculately, it will take you forever.
Strategies for dealing with marking.
Don't put it off.
Don't let it build up.
And the trick with that is to do it in bite-sized chunks.
I try and have a time a week that I can dedicate to marking.
There are ways of lightening the load a bit.
I don't think every piece of work has to be marked by a teacher.
Read out as many answers if it's appropriate. So the children self-mark those. They can do that as well as I can do, right or wrong. It's very simple.
Don't, for example, leave marking for a month or two and have a great big box load of it, because you'll never want to get round to it.
You need to find a balance, really.
And then I would take the books in regularly once a week for about half the class.
I think it's trying to get a schedule worked out where you're not trying to mark every single class's work at the same time.
Flicking through an exercise book and ticking it is not necessarily the best use of your time, and therefore I try and mark particular pieces of work, to a good level.
Give them an email address that they can send that to, which allows them the flexibility to be able to email it to me over the weekend. It also means that I can mark my work electronically and I can actually track the progress of what they're doing.
It is important to mark, it's important to give feedback, it's important that the students know that you're looking at their work.
Next lesson they'll be saying, how did I get in that test, how did I do? And if you say, I haven't marked it yet, I think they respect you a little bit more if you can sort of manage that time to get information back to the pupils next time you see them.
At the weekend, I often end up doing a bit of marking. Sometimes on the Sunday morning. How sad is that? Not always though, only sometimes.
That's one of the worst things I hear of people taking big bundles and boxes home with them in the boot. Try to avoid that and do snippets as you go along.
Because there's nothing like sitting with a pile of books in front of you and you've done 3 and you're almost falling asleep.
So as quickly as you can, mark.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Do I ever say no?
To students, no.
Well, it depends who's asking the question, of course.
Wish I'd said no to this interview, sorry.
I wouldn't be here.
I should say no far more often, to be honest.
I think I say no if I need to say no.
I'm not often put in the position where I have to say no, actually. I'm lucky in that respect.
When you start off in teaching, you want to be the yes person. You say yes to everything.
Read a book and apparently you're supposed to say, can I have time to think about it? But I keep forgetting to say that.
Do I ever say no to people that ask me to do things?
There are ways of saying it.
Obviously, you need to reassure them that you are saying no for the right reasons rather than just for the sake of it.
So I'm not really sure how I'd go about it, actually. I think it's quite difficult.
I will drop everything if a student comes and asks for a little bit of help.
I should say no a lot more often.
I think you've got to obviously do it in the right way.
Depends who's asking me the question.
What is useful too is when you say no is to have an alternative.
Why don't you go and ask this department or that person?
Few of the school know that I'm doing a amateur dramatics run.
There are things that you can't say no to.
I've actually been in 3 plays since August.
And there are some people that you can't say no to as well.
My wife says I should say no more to the plays, that is.
You have to say no sometimes, unfortunately, because of the nature of the job.
We all have our reasons, but offering alternatives, I found, is the best way.
So yes, I say no, and I expect other people to do that, but not to me.
Sometimes I feel like I have stressful days.
Sure, if you ask my wife, just say yes as well.
I think I have done.
No, I don't think I get stressed particularly.
You're waking up, reaching for some marking, you're going to bed, marking, and it just rolls over one day to the next, and that can get quite tiring.
There have been stressful occasions but not long-term stress.
I think teaching always has its stressful moments.
Stress, it feels like it goes up and down and up and down, and I think...
I forgot the question. What are we talking about?
Stress.
Yes? Yes?
Yeah, definitely.
The more experienced you are, and the less it goes up and down, and the more it becomes kind of regular.
Particularly for men, it's something that they don't necessarily talk about amongst each other.
Best trick is not letting other people see that you're stressed.
Yeah, I do get stressed sometimes.
Stress!
The worst thing is to find that you're undergoing a bit of stress but not talking about it or not, you know, getting it out of your system.
I think you have to keep yourself in good humour every single day.
One of the most important things to do as a new teacher is to walk out of school and leave what you've seen and what you've done behind.
And you just got to manage the stress. You've got to go home in the evening sometimes and put your marking to a side and sit and watch some television.
You need to develop strategies, I think, to deal with it and to make it livable with.
Stress busters, we're talking now.
I guess I just do the normal things that one would do.
Do lots of rock climbing and ice climbing and so on.
Play a lot of sport.
Places where you can go, you're not talking about school.
I have a cottage in Wales.
It's really good because when you're hanging off a rock face, you don't think about teaching at all. So,
Although it may not look it, I can still play football.
Non-teaching friends sometimes help.
Or cook dinner with your loved one.
But then just spending time with our family. We go out together on bikes and walks and things like that.
When you go home, you try and, you know, concentrate on your family and my little girl and etc. So, yeah.
Finding an effective balance between kind of what you're doing at work and the stress you've got there, and actually, you know, being able to relax at home, I think is a major stress buster. And if you can get the balance right, are you all right?
It's a fun job. I love it. I spent 13 years as a plasterer, hating every day of it. Teaching is a wonderful profession.
Worst time management sin?
That's hard because I feel that I'm always working at 100 miles an hour.
Ooh. I think perhaps not delegating where I could delegate.
I think researching.
I hate meetings. If I can avoid a meeting, I'll do it.
We do get a fair amount of wasted time by all the bureaucracy that's involved in education these days.
I spend a lot of time on the computer.
Google maybe sometimes.
Checking the news on the internet, you know, reading every news article going.
I waste my time
responding to every email as soon as I get it in my inbox.
Just me being distracted.
So what was the question again?
Worst time management sin?
I like to talk to staff and to kids.
Sometimes I feel like I need to talk rather than work.
I know that I've got something to do and I don't really want to do it, and so I go and, you know, have any excuse to go and chat to people or whatever.
A time management sin.
Being a perfectionist.
Trying to make things look pretty, make them look really nice, put the extra little detail. Do you need that extra little bit on there or not?
The other day I spent about an hour looking for cats dressed up as builders and cats dressed up as teachers.
Ooh. The worst thing is my daughter's got into the habit of saying, "Put the pewter down, Daddy."
If you're not careful, you won't make the difference between your colleagues, the students that you deal with, and the children that you may have at home. And
Oh, it's heartbreaking, your daughter. So this image that your 2-year-old daughter just sees Mummy and Daddy forever with a laptop on.
I think possibly doing too much and working too many hours sometimes.
And when you go home, that's got to be the priority, that's got to be what you need to focus on.